You are viewing an informational presentation provided by the Santa Clara County Housing Authority on small area fair market rents. Effective January 1, 2025, the Santa Clara County Housing Authority implemented housing voucher payment standards using small area fair market rents. Let's begin with better understanding what are small area fair market rents. Small area fair market rents is a way to set rent limits for housing assistance based on zip codes instead of an entire county or region. Small area fair market rents are established by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, each year. Beginning January 1, 2025, the Santa Clara County Housing Authority is required by HUD to use this new approach to calculate rental assistance in the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Please note that this change does not apply to project-based vouchers, PBV, properties, only tenant-based vouchers, known as Housing Choice Vouchers. If you are unsure what voucher type you have, please reach out to the Housing Authority to confirm. Let us now explain more about payment standards. The payment standard is used to calculate the maximum amount of housing assistance a family will receive based on the unit size or the family's voucher size, whichever is lower. The payment standard does not guarantee that the contract rent for a unit will be approved at that level. The approved contract rent must be reasonable compared to similar units in the area. Once again, the listed payment standard for a particular bedroom size and zip code does not guarantee that the contract rent amount for a unit will be approved at that amount. The amount the Housing Authority can approve for the contract rent of a unit is based on nearby similar units and amenities. Now let's talk about small area fair market rent payment standards. Small area fair market rents are intended to result in voucher payment standards that align more closely with localized rental costs. Up until January 1, 2025, HUD required the Housing Authority to set payment standards based on fair market rents calculated for the entire county, rather than for a specific zip code. Under the new approach, the voucher payment standard is based on the localized rent for each zip code, providing opportunities for voucher families to better access all communities in the county, including areas that may offer better schools, job opportunities, and transportation options. You may now be wondering, what does this mean for me as a tenant or property owner? For tenants, it's very important for you to know that the Housing Authority is not reducing payment standards in any zip codes, so no families will see a decrease in housing assistance payments from the new payment standards. If you are currently seeking housing, the payment standard for the unit you select will vary based on the area where you want to live. As a result, you may find more housing options in areas with higher payment standards than were previously available. If you are currently housed and living in a zip code where the payment standards have increased, the new payment standard will be applied at your next regular or interim re-examination, or by January 1, 2026, whichever is earlier. And for property owners, once again, the Housing Authority is not reducing payment standards in any zip codes, so no owners will see a decrease in housing assistance payments from the new payment standards. The impact of the small area fair market rent transition depends on the zip code of your property's location. The updated payment standards will now be based on small area fair market rents, expanding housing options to families in the Housing Choice Voucher Program. We will update housing assistance payments using the new payment standards when we process household changes, or by January 1, 2026, whichever is earlier. We have compiled a few frequently asked questions for tenants. Question: I am a new voucher holder or current voucher holder who is looking for a new unit to rent. How does this affect me? Answer: if your approved move-in date is on or after January 1, 2025, your share of the rent will be calculated based on the small area fair market rents payment standard for that unit's zip code. Please see Small Area Fair Market Rent Payment Standards by Zip Code table or the Payment Standards search tool on our website at www.schousingauthority.org/paymentstandards. Question: I am a current voucher holder living in a zip code where the payment standards have increased. How does this affect me? Answer. The Housing Authority will apply the new small area fair market rent payment standard at your next regular or interim re-examination, or by January 1, 2026, whichever is earlier. Question: have payment standards decreased where I live? Answer: the Housing Authority is not reducing payment standards in any zip codes, so no families will see a decrease in rent assistance from the new payment standards. For tenants that are currently looking to move. You may be asking, what can I afford? If you know which zip code areas you want to live in, refer to the payment standard amount for the bedroom size you are approved for on the rows for that zip code. The payment standard used will be the lower of the family's voucher unit size and the unit bedroom size. Please see the Small Area Fair Market Rent Payment Standards by Zip Code table or the Payment Standards search tool on our website at www.scchousingauthority.org/payment-standards. We will continue to include additional resources as they become available, so please be sure to check back with the website address provided. Remember that the payment standard does not guarantee that the contract rent for a unit will be approved at that level. The approved contract rent must be reasonable compared to similar units in the area. And now for frequently asked questions for property owners. Question: do the new payment standards impact how contract rents are approved? Answer: rent determinations are still conducted in the same way. Contract rents must always meet rent reasonableness requirements. Therefore, approved rents could be lower or higher than the payment standard. For initial leases, the payment standards determine the maximum rent we can approve under tenant income affordability requirements. Question: can I request a rent increase if the payment standards for my unit have gone up? Answer: yes, an owner can request a rent increase at any time. However, the Housing Authority will not approve more than one increase during a 12-month period, and the approved contract rent must be reasonable based on similar comparables. Question: on January 1, 2025, will housing assistance payments automatically increase with the implementation of small area fair market rents? Answer: no. The Housing Authority will adjust housing assistance payments using the new payment standards during the family's next re-examination, at the time of an eligible contract rent adjustment request, or by January 1, 2026, whichever is earlier. Thank you for joining this informational presentation on the implementation of small area fair market rents at the Santa Clara County Housing Authority. To further reinforce a key takeaway, the Housing Authority is not reducing payment standards in any zip codes, so no families or property owners will see a decrease in housing assistance payments from the new payment standards. We hope you now have a better understanding of this change. If at any time you have questions or need clarification, please don't hesitate to reach out to us through the contact information provided here. Thank you again for taking the time to review this change with us. This will now conclude the presentation.